yeah, it's okay. So a little bit about myself for those who are not aware. My name is Thomas Nii Laryea Odamtten, and I was born and bred in Ghana. I went to Tema Methodist Day Secondary School, and then my primary school was in Dex Community 8. So I'm a Tema full-bred and born child and a Ghanaian for that sake as well. And I've worked in various areas, but the most prominent one, obviously, is serving for 22 years with the British Army. My field is actually logistics. Um, uh, yeah, and I've been on several operational tours, and I've been exposed in different scenarios of life as well as operational life as well. I've done a lot of leadership courses and symposiums. Sorry?
No, I think it was a mistake. The person just muted.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so, oh, yeah. Okay, so I've done a lot of leadership, teamwork, and other logistic-based kind of programs, symposiums, and I support a great network in the UK for military or the armed forces as well. So we call it the Ghanaian Commonwealth Network, which we support Ghanaians that are moving to the UK to join the armed forces or the Navy or the RAF, and we support them and then their families as well. And I also do enjoy having these TED Talks and then obviously symposium and educational programs about family, relationship, leadership, and other areas as well. Name it, and then I'll try and then support. So currently videoing or doing this program from the UK, and it's a privilege to have me on board, and I'm privileged to be with you ladies and the entire team today. So without ado, I'll just pass it over to you, and whoever wishes to introduce or his or herself, please feel free to. But we use the first maybe 5-10 minutes to do so before I start with the presentation. So if I
Sure.
get maybe 2-3 people or five, that'll be great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. We already took 20 minutes out of your time, so we'll give an additional 20 minutes.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
All right, all right. Ladies, who wants to introduce themselves? He already knows me, so you guys can take him back.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Minaya, and I am the secretary for SW. Thank you.
Ah,
Or do I need to say more?
yes, he said a lot.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So, um, okay, so Minaya is an acronym for Megan Nanaya Riafe Amiao. I'm the secretary, like I said, for the
Hey,
SW Women Group.
we need you posted.
I currently reside in the United States with my family. I am a student pursuing my master's in HR. And
Thank you.
I,
Thank you very much.
okay, yes, let's leave it there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Somebody else go. Thank you.
Ladies, who is next? Lady Maud. Yeah, I should
Oh,
have called
I'll
Lady
just go next. So my name is Maud Person Coffee, and I was born on 28th October. And let me see. I think what I love doing is spending time with my children and being happy. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Ajua.
Thank you. Thank you. Lady Maud, that was cool.
Yeah. Any more volunteers?
Anyone to introduce themselves? We have Lady Andrea here. We have Lady Senna. We have Lady Nanaya. We have Lady Rahel. We have Lady Larissa. Lady Larissa, please introduce yourself. Hi.
You know what that I am. Why introduce you that?
Say a little
Well,
about. She's actually in the UK too.
oh, interesting. Where about in the UK?
Watford.
Oh, you know what? I'm just down Bushy, so I'm only 2 minutes or 5 minutes from you.
Yes.
Wow.
I've
Wow.
actually cycled through Bushy from Northwood. I went for cycle from Costco past Watford, and then went up to Northwood.
Oh,
And then
okay.
so I've been to Watford this afternoon.
Oh, okay. I'm close to the stadium.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yes. Okay, impressive. So, yeah, do we have another month? It's just that the more I get, then the more the it gives me an idea on how to shape the entire program.
Yes. We have AJ. AJ, can you introduce yourself real quick? We have Lady AJ. I think she just muted. Lady AJ, can you introduce yourself, please? We are introducing
Yes.
ourselves. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Lady AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. I like that. I like that. Is that Jonathan?
Yeah, I think we have a Jonathan here. But um on Fridays, everyone can join, so it's not strictly just ladies.
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Jonathan, please introduce yourself.
I think I'm my pressure.
My impression.
Hello.
Was there an invitation for me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Jonathan Mitchell. I'm in the U.S. And my girlfriend nicknamed me Queasy.
Bless.
Cool.
I'm
Okay,
a
yeah.
I'm a fire protection engineer.
Oh,
Fire sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems,
right.
and yeah, this topic today is very very curious for me. I want to hear what the input is. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much, Jonathan, and you're welcome. And how are you embracing AI in terms of security and then within the fire engineering department?
What's the first part of the question again?
I said, how is your field embracing AI technology?
Well, it's so new.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Right. So thank you very much. I will share my screen, and then from this point, maybe I'll proceed, and then we'll go from there. And thanks for those that introduced themselves. It has given me a little bit of a background and the dynamics that we've got in the room today. So thank you very much once again.
Okay, you are the host now, so you can share your screen.
Oh, okay. And please do let me know when you can see my screen. So
We
that
can see it right now.
please do let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see your screen.
Thank you very much. And you can see the main topic of the discussion for today.
Yes, what men want in a relationship and beyond a man.
Exactly. Thank you very much once again. So when I was given this topic to the last week, I think it's been a little bit of a discussion, and we had a few changes based on the first topic that I was given, and then obviously we shifted from it, and then I got presented what men want, but then thinking about it and then obviously doing a bit of research and based on an experience, I thought it would be wise to expand it a little bit so that we can then understand a lot more or there is a lot more involved when it comes to what men want. So I then elaborate a little bit and then moved it on to in a relationship beyond a man. So because it's fair for us to then look at what a man wants, but there is a lot of factors that comes into play when we think of the internal aspect of it and then the external aspect of everything. So I will move on to the next topic, whereby we'll have a couple of discussion points. And this is where I need the entire group to come together so that we share certain thoughts. And that will shape the next bit of the presentation. So before we move on, just take a couple of minutes to read the second. I'm sure a lot of people have already read it, but just take a little bit of a minute to just digest the narrative at the bottom. And when you're thinking about it, the bit that I want you to focus on is the physiology needs, the communication styles, and a relationship expectation. And this is both ways. As we are looking at it from a man's perspective in terms of what they want, I want you to change it to what a woman thinks as well, or what females think men actually need and beyond within the relationship. So this is the $1 million question that I've put out there so that we can discuss. We'll discuss the first one. What is one simple way you have shown your partner respect this week in a way he understands? So that's the first question we're going to discuss. Over to you, Miss President. I'll let you start. I'll let you start off.
Why?
I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but as a president, we always say we lead from the front.
Hey, you pay a fine.
Indeed.
So I should answer the first question.
In your own opinion, just have a think of this week and then just give something that you feel you did that your husband actually understood you from your perspective.
Okay, so yesterday was actually interesting. So we woke up in the morning and we were all home. So I said, "Oh, I think we should have a general cleanup in the house." So when I said that, I I started doing stuff, telling the kids what to do and all that. Before I knew it, like he was also like really partaking of the exercise, doing a lot and all that. So before we slept, I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for helping out clean the house." And he was like, "Well, you put the initiative out there, so I live here, so I had to follow and then do what we all needed." It was quite very, very interesting, and I liked it. So it made me think, because he said something like that before, that set the pace and then we follow. And
Indeed.
he did that yesterday. I mean, he's very helpful, but he went far and beyond what he did extra, than I even expected. So that was very cool.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to share an idea on the very first question?
Ladies, share before I'm called again. Otherwise, I'll suspend all of you. Let's be interactive. Let's
Please, we just need to be a little bit more interactive so then it'll become more lively. So I just need just one from each person, if we can, just one or two. Okay, if we're not getting any response for that, I'll move on to questions. But Mr. President, thank you very much for your idea. I think the key point from that is that you set a pace, which you did say that your husband have already highlighted that to yourself. So you took the initiative to put a task ahead and then invited him to join the task. And you were happy he joined it. and at the end of it, you got a response. So initiative, putting a task and then getting a response from it. So it's almost like doing something and then getting a thank you back, which you had some sort of emotional response from it, which highlighted your week for you. So moving on to question 2, how have we created a home environment where our partners feel safe to share financial or emotional burden? Let's have a little bit thought of, obviously, husbands going to work or yourself going to work and then coming back and then having that stressful environment, or the kids coming back from school and then having that stressful environment. What do we think as individuals we've done to make the home a safe haven for either our husband or ourselves to share critical, emotional, and then financial discussion, if that makes sense? Anybody at all?
Hey, my ladies, what's going on today? You guys are not talking.
I think they've gone into their listening mood, eh?
I know, right? So, okay.
Should
Since
we volunteer or voluntold?
yeah, since I'm the scapegoat, let me just go ahead. So
Okay.
I would say that listening more, and being very attentive, being very, very attentive to everything, his mood swings, when he's talking about money, like when there's a conversation involving money, even his eating, you know, what he likes to eat, what he doesn't like to eat, what makes him happy, what makes him upset. Being very observant as a woman, I think it really helps your partner to feel very comfortable around you because you know how he is. So whenever there's an issue or whenever he's in distress, you can figure it out because you really paid attention to him. You've been very obvious, so you know when to say something, when not to say something, when he's happy, when you need to go the extra mile to make sure you put a smile on his face. So I think being very attentive helps.
Indeed, it does help. AJ, do you have anything to add?
Yay, now names have been mentioned. I like that.
Miss AJ?
Lady AJ.
Lady AJ?
Yes. Oh, Lady Ajua. Lady Ajua, can you say something? I don't like the way you people are muted like that.
Mr. Jonathan, I'll throw you under the bus because you're the male on there. So, is there any experience this week that you feel that Madame had created for you to feel at home? I know that she does that every day, but has anything that has happened this week or the past few days that resonates with you? We've gone radio silent. Anyway, we'll move on from that then.
Can I come in?
Yeah, you can indeed.
Okay, so Jonathan is my partner,
Yes.
and I think he's working. So if he doesn't communicate, forgive him.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes. So for question number 2,
Yeah.
Jonathan is a guy who prefers words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever he does something, whenever we are talking, and you tell him lots of positive things, he lightens up. He enjoys it. He loves it. However, if you do not, and he's also a guy that likes to communicate, just like Lady Shu said, her husband. Jonathan is the same. He prefers communication. He wants us to talk things through. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. So every day we strive to talk about our emotions, about our feelings, what we're going through, If we say something that hurt the other person, we need to talk it out. We need to sort it out. You cannot go to bed angry with each other. Same with finances. If we are struggling in any part or anywhere we fall short with our finances, he lets me know, I let him know. We pick each other up where we can, and then we move on with our lives and with our relationship. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That is a real in-depth information that you've shared over there. So I'm really grateful for that. And I hope the rest of the group have picked one or two from it. But I think the key thing that resonates in these questions is communication, emotions, identifying emotions, and being able to swing it from one side to the other. And these are key skills that when you have in a relationship, you thrive and you are able to work as a team. The third question then goes into conflict. And when conflict arises, what did we do to move the argument from problem to problem, basically from argument to problem solving? And that I'm not going to open it up for the audience to answer because obviously we don't want to share private issue. Arguments should stay at home. But I'm trying to tease out for you or for the rest of the team to start asking yourself the question that do you have the ability to move a conversation from an argument to problem solving and not dwelling on the actual problem? Because when we dwell on the problem, we're not going to solutionize it or we're not going to find a solution to it. So I just want at the back of your mind as we go through the presentation, I just want you to be thinking about these three questions and you come to realize that it's something that sits with us within our daily lives. And when we are able to tackle these three questions, we're pretty much on the right path. And most likely we are on the right path, but there are other things that comes into it, which will be the external forces and obviously modern society. So the next slide is just giving you an overview of areas that we're going to be covering. And we've already highlighted some of the issues based on the three questions that we've just discussed. And the key thing that, as I mentioned, is all about emotion. So emotion, not ethno, I mean, the physical aspect of things when we're dealing with the perception and then shape, how we feel within a relationship, whether what a man wants or you as a female, what you also want in a relationship, what actually shapes the emotions in a relationship, the impression it gives. You understand? Confusion, controversial, hard to trust. When problem arises, we start to lose trust between each other. And the main thing you see here is on that cycle that I'm showing you now is all about emotion, understanding the emotions of a man, how a man thinks and how you think about it yourself. And we will come to that, which is the emotional intelligence aspect of a woman. Women have that special skill about them. However, it is how you translate it in your relationship or your daily life. And women are very good at using it with kids, in school, in teaching environment, in workplace and environment. How we communicate it within the confinement of our homes and relationship is what the focus is. And that is where the importance of this discussion comes into play. I hope you're with me.
Yes, we are.
Okay. The
Yeah.
good thing that you also realize is that in every slide, I've put links at the bottom of it, which then takes you to areas that you can basically learn a lot more from after this presentation as well. Brilliant. Moving on, we're going to be discussing about the respect and then genuity of affirmation. I think Jonathan's message highlighted on affirmation, which is a very important aspect when it comes to male in a relationship, as well as female. Female wants affirmation, but then it's translated in a different way. Focusing on a man in terms of, or a man in terms of respect, and enduring genuine affirmation is what we're going to discuss, man. When we talk of respect, what we need to understand is that respect is the core language of a man. And why do we say that? That is transparent in our society today, or even modern society. In a home, biblically, we've always known, and we all know that it says that man is the head of the family. And there is a real reason to that. Why do we say that? Akon once said, a man's responsibility is to protect, create an environment which is safe for a woman and the family. Then what becomes the woman's responsibility? It is for her to support, navigate, advise, and lead that gentleman. So the man has a responsibility of creating that safe haven, but no matter what, he still needs the framework to keep him sustainable in that relationship. And that is where we come in, or when that is where women or females comes into play. Not to say that there aren't female that are leaders, because we don't want to confuse leadership with being the head of the family. Two different components, but uses the same framework to function. Being a leader, everybody can become a leader as long as you've got the qualities and then you've practiced it and then you know how to enforce it. You can be a leader to get something out of it. To become the head of the family, we know biblically it's been said several times in the Bible, as well as modern environment highlights the head of the family being a male. And if we have accepted that as Christians or society, then how do we support that core language of a man going forward in order to create a sustainable home, a peaceful home, and a peaceful relationship? Whether being your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or a partner, let me put it that way, your partner, because it could be any shape or form. So the respect being the core language of a man is very important. I can also give you another example when it comes to politics. We can see in the modern warfare, if you are familiar with modern warfare, when the President Trump has a political visit or a VIP visit and the person come, you can always tell from his gesture that he wants to dominate that conversation and wants to show command in the room, because another man entering another man's home, the man that it is home needs to show control. So you can even see that in the political world, it is demonstrated the man needs to do what? Show that control. Although it leads into leadership, there is a control over them. Man prioritizes respect. And why does he prioritize? Because that is where he knows that he stands tall, so that he can promote and then protect you as a female. It makes him feel respected and received in society. In our modern family homes, if I put it out there and then ask the simple question, how do men feel when women make or pay compliments to their friends about their husband from work? It's all about your husband is very respectful, or your friend respects your husband because you have done what? You have showcased him to her. And it makes him feel more powerful and more in control. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody got any question in that aspect, or can anybody give me a situation whereby he felt that there was a respect being recognized by an outsider from his or her home, being a friend, what the scenario was and what the person felt that there was a respect being acknowledged? Yes, no, nobody had that experience?
They have. They just love to listen.
Well, they just not actually coming out. So I'll give you a normal example that we tend to get. When your husband has invited you to a dinner party, for instance, and you walk into that room and you see the public or his colleagues and stuff, and they come and give you that handshake and then the smile. Although that is not being said verbally, that is a sign of respect because you are walking behind your husband, and that respect that is coming from him is what is being resonated onto yourself, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yes, it does make sense.
Yeah.
And it's a small narrative that we don't tend to see it very often, but it is there. And you see that the man leads the way. You as a female, you follow suit, but then you can see the expression from the audience or the public or the people around him. It means that you are doing something right, which is giving him the ultimate respect in that scenario. And that is where men seems to feel comfortable at or acknowledged. Talking about affirmation, I think Miss Jonathan's partner highlighted on affirmation, which is a very good scenario to share. And this always comes in public when having conversation in public with your friends or his peer group. Men need that affirmation for them to feel safe around you as a woman. Sometimes it will happen when you are not there and in their own environment because it's working relationship stuff that is happening in the office. But when you are in that space, in that group, you expressing that affirmation in public makes him feel more powerful and passes on that energy to yourself through the respect from his colleagues. These things as well also can be expressed at home, especially when you have a family. For those that have family among us, when we have children at home, whatever we are portraying at home and showing that affirmation transfers that energy to our husband because it gives our children or it serves as a role model for them to look up to you to know that this is what mom is doing in support of that and reassuring dad in terms of what he's doing and then showing appreciation for it. So I'm also going to follow suit directly and indirectly. And it makes him have that control of that family with your support. And every time I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that it comes from your support as a female because you are very important in making this work.
Yeah. We have a hand up.
Go for it.
We have a Frida.
Frida, Madam Frida, can you please go? What do you want to share?
Yeah, it's a question I wanted to ask actually.
Indeed.
So, what is the difference between healthy respect and placing one partner above the other? I mean, respecting a man as your equal partner versus treating him as someone who has more value or authority than you because he's a man.
In what context? Sorry, I'll ask that question.
So are we to respect them like as an equal partner, or we're supposed to give all power and authority to them because they are the men?
No, that is not what I'm that I get where you're coming from, but no, because why I say that the power of controlling that respect, like I said, is coming from yourself. So it isn't that you are empowering the male to control everything for you to be a dummy, to be precise. What I'm trying to say is that the energy for the man to earn his respect in society falls on yourself and the treatment that comes from you. We all have our responsibilities, being a female and a male in a relationship, and where you are strong at. You understand what I mean? So, your support that you are giving him is enough respect for him to dominate where he needs to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Yes. So I'm not asking you for, we're not going back in the olden days to say that, right? You wake up in the morning and you have to go and kneel down and say, good morning, husband. What do you need for coffee? By all means, if that works for you in your relationship and you do it and it works, by all means, do that. However, what I'm trying to say is that the mechanism for him to feel respected at home is a shared responsibility, but the key to it and the framework to dangle it lies in your hand. It's just that you're not realizing. I'm hoping that as this presentation goes on, you start to do what? Realize that. Happy?
Okay.
Do we have another hand up? I apologize for that because I can't see the screen because I'm sharing my screen. So
Yeah. So I'm here. I'll be helping you with that.
Yeah, okay, indeed. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
If you don't have any question, I'll move on to the next one.
Yes.
Which is going to be the
Moving
emotional safety.
Sorry,
Yeah,
moving forward, anyone with a question, just put your hands up and I'll let him know. Thank you. Please, you can go on, Thomas.
Okay. Emotional safety. When we say emotional safety, what are we then talking about? Any idea from anyone, please?
Emotional safety.
Yes.
I can add a little bit to that. A man, I'm going to speak in general terms, a man needs to feel safe that if he shares something from his heart to you, that there's not going to be a negative reaction or criticism, I should say.
Indeed.
And he needs that because he needs to share what's inside, and he can't easily do that with just anyone, but he'll gladly do it with his friend or his partner if he can trust that the feedback is not going to be negative.
That is perfect. Smart bang on. Thank you, Mr. Jonathan. So as Mr. Jonathan expressed over there, emotional safety is where a man feels safe, as well as where a woman feels safe. But in these two contexts, what we come to realize is that research has shown that women are very express their emotion by voicing it out straight away. And because we have the natural culture and perception that a man is strong, a man is robust enough and can take more than he's supposed to take, we tend to keep certain issues within us, which is not the best thing to do, because what it does is that it builds up. What the man needs is somebody who is a safe haven for him at his most vulnerable point, which is what Mr. Jonathan highlighted on. And I'll give you a key example. For one of my deployments to Iraq, one of the research that came back was that there was a lot of trauma that obviously people experience, which is what we call the post-traumatic trauma. However, when we came back, there was little known about it, so we didn't share it. A lot of people didn't share those emotions and stuff like that. But then what happened beyond that was there was a lot of divorce cases, there was a lot of suicide cases, and then there was a lot of other things that happened within society that were related to ex-service personnel. And then when the research was conducted, from it, they came to realize that all the post-traumatic stress that was not dealt with at that point in time, when people were returning from operational tour, was what was affecting them at home. Why? Because they've been away from the family for that long, and things have moved on. When they came back with their own problems, they couldn't share it because obviously the home that they thought was home was not a safe haven for them, or the room wasn't given. That as well, we can experience it obviously for people that do not have military husbands and wives. There are issues that happens within office. There is financial issues that men may have, and they might not want to share it based on the fact that the woman that has the power, the young lady that asked the question earlier on, You have the power. You have to create that open environment and then the safe haven for that gentleman when they come home, so that they can share that information with you, so that you can support it or support him or her. Who is he going to share that information with if he cannot share it from you? That is where the problem starts.
Okay. Afali.
Are you with me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So it is creating that safe environment for that man to be able to share that vulnerable moment with you. And the most important thing from this is not you using it as a tool to control the situation. You're not using it as a trap to entrap him, to criticize him. Because remember, this is his weakness, this is his vulnerability. If he is not sharing that with you, then there is a problem. But if he's sharing it with you, do not or don't fall in the trap of using it as a tool to control the situation or the narrative, because that's where we go wrong. Anybody got any question on that, please?
Not yet.
I think Lady AJ had her hand up for a minute. Lady AJ, please, did you have anything to say?
I was just adding on to the emotional safety. So I typed it in the chat box that it's also just a way of being yourself around someone without the fear of being judged, attacked, or shut down.
Exactly. So yes, and that's what I mean by you have it, the female having the two, because the man feels vulnerable. It's so a man feeling strong is only an armor, right? It's a safety net that we've wrapped ourselves in for ages or for years, right? But how do we unveil those armor that we've wrapped ourselves in? It is for you or for us to create that home, that safe haven, so that the man will be vulnerable to share that with us or with you. So then you can then find solution to it. And hence the reason why I say, if he's not sharing that information, then we have a problem. So it goes back to the very first three questions that we were addressing in the very beginning. So just keep it at the back of mind. If he's not sharing, you need to be asking. You need to be creating, or we need to be creating that environment so that they will start opening up. However, we need to also ensure that when they start opening up, it's not being used as a device to control the relationship. However, it should be used as a pathway to start solving problems. Moving on from there, we'll go on to what we call the peace of mind at home. A direct translate. Yeah. But then I want us to think about, again, we did discuss it in the very first, some of the part of the first three questions. Peace of mind at home, husband coming back from work. Is the home the place that he wants to come? And then I want you to also put your shoes in his shoes as well. If let's say there was that week that you've been going to work and he's been at home, has he been creating that environment for you? Anybody has anything to share in this scenario before I move on to it myself? What are some of the issues that, or some of the moods that we think we come back from work and then we get at home that we think we don't like or we do like?
Partners on phone when they get home.
Thank you very, very much. Partners on phone when we get home. Anybody else?
Coming home to meet a cluttered house. The
A
whole place
cluttered
is messy.
So we have mobile phones, and then we have clouded house. So we have modern technology.
We have Lady Senna. Please, we would like to hear what you have to say.
Yes, I was going to say not being able to leave work at work and bringing work home.
Bringing work home. Okay, being able, yeah. Separation. Somebody spoke about someone there. Hello? Have I lost everybody?
No, we're here.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so the first one was okay. Was somebody going to say something?
Lady Pat, please, do you have anything to say? Okay, we can move on.
We can move on. Okay, right. So the first one was mobile phone, coming back from work and then husband being on the mobile phone. All right. So what can we do? And this is a very difficult part as well, because we live in a technological world or modern world whereby we go on TikTok and it's all about what? Swipe, 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 swipe. And then before you realize it's 11 o'clock at night and then everybody's going by. And then the next excuse is, me, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. You know what I mean? And then who is doing the dishes? Who is doing this in the morning, and so on and so forth. Coming home when the home is cluttered. Oh, okay, all right. Not having standardization. Not having a structured family chores. So that causing a little bit of confusion. All of these are things that fortunately and unfortunately, the movement of the technological world has brought onto us. Additional responsibility has brought onto us. So then and these are the external factors that we're going to. So how do we go around to reshape things? And these comes with what we're going to talk next about, which is communication and so on and so forth. And then having a structured relationship, not a policing relationship or regimented relationship, but having a structured relationship whereby you know that there are times that we don't need to be on the phone all the time, or when we come back from work, there should be mobile phone away time so that we can focus and have conversation with ourselves. And also splitting tasks, as you mentioned. I think sometimes females go into the mindset that the task at hand is theirs and cannot be passed on. So they feel obliged they have to do it. So then it piles up, and then obviously it builds up, and then we don't have the way to deal with it. So then it causes other confusion. So it's a matter of communicating, but we'll move on. That's the next time that we talk about communication and how to communicate that with your partner so that you can deal with some of these issues. But having a structured relationship is very important when it comes to chores. And then obviously being able to separate yourself from mobile phones or technology is also one of those things as well. But in this case, what I wanted to highlight on the two hello. What I wanted to talk
Lady
about
Pat, can you kindly mute? We are getting feedback from your side. Sorry about that.
That's fine. So the constructive timing. So I'll talk about timings as well. The timing of bringing these conversation up to ensure that you have a peace of mind at home is very important. And that is the reason why I've got these two lovely, encouraging primates and then the albatross on there. Does anybody know anything about the albatross? So I find this bird of very, very elegant animal whom lives his life with a single partner entirely. So they migrate, they meet their partner, they build a nest, and everybody between the two of them, they have a responsibility. And their responsibility is to raise that bird to grow up and then fly away. And then once that is finished and the season ends, they fly away. But the next season, they come back to the same spot. The man knows what he needs to do. The woman knows what he needs to do. They do it together and then they go away again. So I like their lifestyle, because if we were regimented, relationship will not be a problem, because we turn up, we do what we need to do, and then we go our ways, and then everybody goes to roam the skies, and then we meet again the following year. But unfortunately, we are human beings. We do evolve. and we like to challenge our thoughts and our behaviors. So we just have to be able to deal with multiple things at a time. But how do we come together to make sure that the environment in which we live in is peaceful? Then you have our lively primates on the left hand side of the screen that are very dominant. Everything is very regimented and and in focus. Male being a male, and I don't care what anybody thinks, but then I will dominate and stuff like that. But that is not what we want. What we want is a harmonized home, which is what peaceful. So when I said that communication is very important. What do we mean by communication? We've got two ways of communication. It says by itself direct and an ambitious communication. What do men understand when it comes to communication? Men are very direct. I'm not no two ways about it and stuff like that. So two communications, we have the signal communication that we're going to do what we're going to talk about, and then we have also the direct communication. And why do I say men understand direct communication? And I'll give you an example. A man walks in from work every day and takes his shoes off and leaves it at front of the house. Woman does not like it, or somebody does not like it. The expression you give or your response is that you make your face in a funny way, and then you kind of, you know what I mean, give a facial signal as you're angry, and then he walks on and then he goes. But then he repeats doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. That should indicate to you that he's not picking up the signal, and that's we need to do what communicate that. However, the tone of the communication is key in this aspect, and this is vice versa. It's just that men know how to, I wouldn't say not men, a percentage of men know how to do what utilize their tone in communication. And I wouldn't speak for the entire men of the world, to be honest with you, because there will be a little teeny ratio of men that will probably fall short of it. Likewise, women as well. There will be a lot of women out there that knows how to use the tone of their language. However, when it comes to looking after children, we can always tell that women, we say that the women are the careful one, and then the man is the soft one, and so on and so forth. It's all about the tone of the communication. Unfortunately, I had not for fortunately, unfortunately, I had a couple that I spoke to a couple of days, and then one of the key things that I think we picked out was that the the woman was able to communicate based on my conversation with them when it came to English. Yeah, the woman was able to communicate effectively. But then when it came to talking in the tree language, I could tell that she couldn't communicate clearly. And what do I mean by that? I could tell that the expression that she was using in the English language to tell her story or to tell the husband in terms of what action is to be taken was quite precise and polite. But then in translation into tree language, it was a little bit of a command. So then the man goes into a defensive mode. Has anybody experienced that or noticed that before in communication with a man? Probably not.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Is
You
there?
are not conversant with the language or how to use it properly.
Yeah. And in fact, I'll give you another one to think about. If anybody had a situation, or if you think back, you send your partner a message on the phone, he is quick to respond. But when you communicate physically, there is always an argument. Anybody notice that?
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens. Right. So I think one of the key things that we see from that
Yeah.
is when we send message in English, the translation of what you are saying almost seems right because you are writing another person's language. But then when it seems to come out of our lips or our mouth, it translates different because of the body language that we use in carrying out that information. Hence the reason why the tone of the communication is very, very important. And from a man's perspective, it needs to be a clear expression to him. If it's a task, it needs to be invited into. You understand? In a relationship, we invite each other into task, if that makes sense. We don't direct people to conduct tasks like we would direct our children to do or conduct tasks, which is pretty much the same from a man to a woman. So I find people say, "Oh, can you please do this for me?" When we speak in English, we're like, "Oh, can you please?" But when we speak in Twi, we don't say "Mpacho bit me akwa." Kofi na unfa ade no ho mame. You understand what I mean? Did anybody get me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you come to realize that that communication tone it lacks a bit of clarity. Now, when we talk about the signal aspect, obviously, when it comes to bedroom action or flirting action and so on and so forth, that one we can put our signals here and there, but we also need to know how we put that, because a lot of times men will even miss out the signal that you're trying to give them in that aspect. You might give it 10 times, 3 times, and then they will just not recognize it. Sometimes you just need to prompt them a little bit. But the key takeaway from this communication is that when communicating, tone is very, very important. Clarity is also very important, because we need to ensure that whatever we are conveying to each partner carries a little bit of what? Dignity. For me, what I always use is that invite the person when it's a task. When I'm talking to my children or my child, I will task him. But I always add the magic word, please. I'm not asking you to do that, but I'm just trying to differentiate between the two.
Okay, Jonathan has his hand up.
Go for it, Mr. Jonathan.
I just wanted to offer this example when you're talking about tone. It may be helpful. Um, if um, if he tells you that he's done something and he describes whatever it was, there's a difference between your response, which could be, "You did that,"
Yeah.
or "You did that." See the difference?
There's a big difference.
And there's probably five different ways you can respond with those words, and each five of those things mean different things to who's hearing the message. So I just thought that would be a helpful example.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much. The response, yes, you did that, or did that. You know, it's in different languages, it might interpret in a different way. So we just need to be mindful of the tone of our language, and that comes with what I call the emotional intelligence, understanding what emotions you are carrying from A to B, and then your self-awareness, which is very important in when it comes to communication. Again, the links are there for people to then click on it to learn a lot more about emotional intelligence and self-awareness as well. Thank you, Mr. Jonathan. From that point, when we communicate really well with each other, we will be able to translate that communication into physical intimacy and an affection, because we've been able to deal with communication in different levels. We've been able to deal with how to respect each other, how to affirmate the man from a man's perspective and even a woman's perspective. You understand? And we've cleared up all the communication nuances and stuff like that. Once we've been able to identify all those things using our emotional intelligence and then our self-awareness and so on and so forth, we should be able to then translate that skill into physical intimacy and affection. What do I mean about physical intimacy? Everybody knows, but affection is very important. But how do we translate that? Let's not think too much about the big one. but we just think about the little things that we do in an affection that gives the man a little bit of what? Assurance. Because what we need to understand is that when it comes to a male, physical intimacy is a different psychological interpretation as to a woman, as science has proven. What do I mean by that? For a man, it's a feeling of a desire and want. He feels that it is his responsibility to ensure that that act happens. It is the moment that when we spoke about knowing that that emotion, he will be able to share that emotional connection with you. That is where it comes into play, into physical intimacy action. So he's coming to you like, think of it as a newborn child coming back to his mom for some sort of closure. And see, we have Mr. Jonathan. I don't know if you understand the proverb I'm just about to use, but you see, the point behind that is that the man always comes for that cuddle that reassures him that he still belongs to you and you are still mine. Now, in our setting, there are so many times that people use it as a weapon to negotiate their selves or their to negotiate their point within a relationship, which sets the pace for a breakup or divorce, so to speak. And it brings a whole lot of issues within a relationship. So the most important thing that you need to understand in this aspect of the physical intimacy is that it is the point of closure. When all things are being said and being done, and we solve the problem and we all tied, this is where the man feels that he's coming back to his mother for a closure. So for him, it translates a lot more. Let's not also forget that at this point it's beneficial health-wise for both of us because it's a relaxing mechanism for us to go to sleep or to refill energize again by raising our dopamine. So as much as we might think that the man wants it, women as well do want it or need it as well because it's healthy for us, giving us the longevity in terms of life, raising our energy levels, revamping our dopamine for the following morning or throughout the day, and most important, sharing that desire between the two because it connects you as well. Not much I can say. I can say a lot more about it. However, we adults and we should understand it. But the most important thing that we need to take away from this is if we've worked on communication, affirmation, respect, and all those things, we shouldn't be using this as a tool to negotiate our relationship. And yesterday, through some conversation, I gave a quick example where we see ourselves using it as a tool to negotiate or not feeling at it. And I think the other thing I need to highlight is that when you are not in the mood to share that physical intimacy, it is very important when the signal starts, you set the tone to express to the man that obviously this is what it is. You understand? And communicate with that partner rather than leaving it. And then sometimes we get people to go into the mood of, oh, dear brother, you know what I mean, come and do what you need to do and let me go to sleep. Then what you are then trying to do at that point is that you are setting a transactional relationship going on, or you are setting a tone as if, come and do what you want and let me go because I'm not interested. You know what I mean? It's like giving your son a sweet and then sending him to the naughty corner. Have a sweet and go and sit at the naughty corner. That is not what we want, is it? Now, spontaneous affection, you know what I mean? Non-sexual gestures, very, very important in public because that sets up affirmation and then that sets respect and it sets out our emotional connection. Holding hands, I know that is not our tradition. However, we have personnel on board that have had relation or still in relationship with people from different backgrounds and in different parts of the world. So the mixture of these two cultures needs to be recognized to ensure that the relationship grows, and then you share that spontaneous affection. Do we need to do something really big or massive? No, we don't. What we can do, hold hands, set up some dinner night, hug in the morning or in the afternoon. Some men are very good at that. Every time they walk past the kitchen and they see their husband, they will tap them by the butt. Rub your hand behind his back. Show him that you are there. When he sees you doing it, he will also do it. Some men are very good at doing it. Some women are also very good at doing it. But you need to show that affection as well. It's not just being in the bedroom that confirms that you are connecting to him, but allow him and accept him for that purposes. Hug him, hold his hands in public, not in public. Hug him in public. He says something, you say the thank you gesture. Oh, I do agree with what you just said. Kiss him at the back of his neck when he's walking away. Or just hold his hand when he's just walking out of the door. Say, thank you very much, husband, for today. He will notice the difference. He will do it back to you as well. But like I said, some women are very good at doing it. Some women are also very good at it. But I also understand with the cultural dynamics, it can be challenging. However, these little gestures sends really good signals, and then it gets us to notice what is going on in the relationship. Avoid intimacy again, which I mentioned earlier on. Yeah, I can't do it today. We'll have to do it next week. I'm not in the mood. Yes, we all know you're not in the mood. Sometimes men are not in the mood. Sometimes women are not in the mood. But then it comes down to communication, because there are issues that needs to be dealt with. So you have that communication, you deal with it, and then you go ahead. When you build it up inside you, you just build in a room for disaster. Anybody had any question or any experience that they want to share at this stage? No. Okay. Moving on, we'll go on to going back onto what a man wants, and what do we think? And I'll throw this question there again, because we have a myth about what men actually want in terms of when it comes to choosing a woman to set up a relationship with. Anybody has any ideas they want to throw there? What do they think? Because why do I ask this question? I ask this question because when we start to experience issues within our relationship, we tend to have that imagination that, oh, he doesn't want me because of this. I'm not his choice of woman, or this and that and that and that. What do we think men want when it comes to a woman, choice of a woman? You are in that relationship because you've been chosen. That's what you are thinking, but we'll come to that in a minute. So yeah, go for it, please.
I think men look out for women they can feel safe with.
Yes. Good point. Safety. Yep. We'll take that. Anybody else? Next one.
I think you've touched on this, but I think respect is also very important to men.
Respect. Yes. So safety, respect. Oh, I was hoping I was gonna get a lot from this one. I need two more. Okay, no show. Right.
So can we say love? Love as well.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. So we've got safe, respect. We've got being loved, a woman that can show some sort of level of love as well.
Someone types
Safe haven.
Somebody said something. Safe haven. Supportive. Yes. Supportive. Yes.
Physical attraction.
Physical attraction. That's a key one as well. Yeah.
And I said safe
Yes,
haven.
I got your safe haven. I think I said about that, but life was better. But that's a good point as well. Very good point. Julio. So I think we've got about 6 in there, and I'll try to remember it when I go onto my slide. But everything that everybody has, or the team has mentioned, there are all elements of it that we look at, or a man will look at. And I would say it is a branch of what the man is looking for. The lady that mentioned safe haven, yes, I do like that. And then the one that said peace as well, I also highlighted that at the back of my brain, loved as well, and so on and so forth. But what I want to say
Someone
is that
says trust.
trust, yes, that's a trust as well. And that's what I mean. It's all connects to the key things that I've mentioned there. And I think confidence comes with independence, and all that falls into that. So we've got confidence, vision. Yeah, somebody can support your vision in there. Independence, safe haven, room to breathe. The lady that mentioned that. So the key point I'm trying to draw out of here is that if you look at ourselves within the room here, right, you will come to see that you've all risen to a certain level in life. I made a note yesterday when I was having a conversation. When we think men chose us, as in women, forgetting that women choose. Well, I'm a man, so when I'm talking, it becomes a little bit controversial for myself in my brain. So women choose us rather than we choosing them. We make the decision in terms of whom we want to choose, and on what basis are we making those decisions. So if a young lady has dressed really well and walking down the road, or you've walked into a room with a whole lot of delegates having a meeting and so on and so forth, you see a gentleman and you say, oh, he's a very good looking gentleman. But in the man's head, when you are sat there and he is looking at you, there is a whole lot of things that is ringing in his brain. So you being next to him now is not a decision that was made in a twinkling of an eye. It's not a decision that was made based on just the looks. Yes, the looks might look attractive. Yeah, I looked at you and then you looked very nice and stuff like that. However, there is a lot more things that goes up in his brain to then have that decision to be made. So if you are married or you are with a partner as we speak, or you are single and then you are dating someone as we speak, just note in your brain that the choice of the man was not just made based on your looks, but it was made based on key points to do with your confidence, to your vision, to your independence, what you advocate for, what you work for. And these are the things that are the attractions that pull you to your partner. So we just need to look a little bit beyond it, if that makes sense. One that sits with me the most, which is the room to breathe, supporting his personal hobbies is one of the things. And I did mention that as well yesterday, that, in our Ghanaian society, I think you have two dynamics of a group of men when we look at it. When it comes to hobbies, it's not much of a thing because we always think it's the kids that have to have hobbies. But some of our husbands, or some of the husbands, do also have hobbies as well. Every weekend, men are going away to play golf. Men are going away to play tennis. Men are going away, some of them going to the gym, and then some of them are also going to do, I don't know, sit at the drinking spot and then have a few drinks and stuff because that's their hobby. I wouldn't class that as a hobby anyway. However, the points that we need to draw from these things is that how do we interject and then interlace ourselves with their hobby to strengthen our relationship? That is the question we need to be asking ourselves. Men want people that will motivate them or want them to feel needed and useful. In your independence that you're doing, in the idea or whatever you as a team are sharing as a goal, he needs to be part of it. You need to bring him into it. And men also like women who have big ambitions so that they can support you. Hence the reason why I put those three key photos there, because there are three icons that I kind of like their achievements, and then I read a little bit about their books and then stuff like that, and I think they do well. But then there is one thing that you see with these three, and I believe there are so many there, and you come to realize that their husband supports their role. And when you read about their bios and stuff like that, especially Angeli Kijo over there, it tells you the support that he's had around her to grow her brand. So being an ambitious woman doesn't scare a man. However, it gives him the confidence to believe in you. Knowing that when everything comes to a standstill, he has someone who can then carry on with the journey. But most importantly, how do we weave the men into those vision so that they become supporting framework for us as well, and not leaving them for them to just go and do their normal hobbies and so on and so forth? How do we interlace ourselves into it? Can we join the same tennis club with them as we belong or they belong, directly and indirectly? Can we find a gym club that we can both go on the weekends? They will come around. It will be challenging, but can we pull ourselves into it? Can we have a common goal in that respect? Yeah? Yes or no? Yeah. So from that, the key thing is obviously knowing that and being aware that you have done a lot to be where you are, to have your relationship, and you've seen it grow. All the things that we've spoken about, you already have those attributes and you've been working on it, but you do have challenges along the way. And we've spoken about the key things that we need to draw out to ensure that we can navigate our way through it, which is the emotional intelligence with that. But the most important thing is that we are strong women, or as strong women, you are confident in yourself, you have a vision, and that is what your man wants. You are independent in your own way, however, you being with him, and he needs to support you, you need to support him. But how do you weave him into that? And also, a man needs a woman who gives him a room to breathe, to support a supporting person. Moving on from that, we go into the cultural nuances and the modern Ghanaian context and what we think. So I'll move on to it, and then I'll give everybody a little bit of a breather to have a quick read of the three key areas that I've mentioned there. And if we need to discuss it, we'll just take it one after the other, and I'll expect one or two from the audience as well. So in this respect, which I know, tradition versus modern expectation. And then we look at extended. So where I would dwell more on, because I know within our Ghanaian society, where we normally find our issues mostly is the extended family dynamics and stuff like that. How do we, and this is very straightforward, to be honest with you. And it's either we choose to do it or we choose not to do it in long term, to be precise. So it's all about how do we draw the line between extended family issues and then nuclear family issues? You know what I mean? Having that clear line of lineage, understanding that there are two things that we are discussing here. There is the external family and then the nuclear, as we as a family that we live at home. Whether you are in a relationship or you are not in a relationship or partnering up with somebody, understanding that there are two different demand streamlines. How do you navigate ourselves in the two? Anybody has any idea to share, experience to share how they feel that is the best way to navigate yourself within these scenarios? Because I believe it's a common thing that happens, a common thing. Yes, no? Hello? Have I lost everybody?
No, no, we are here.
No, we are.
Oh, okay. Ah, everybody went radio silence, hence the reason why I was asking.
So if I may,
Yes.
I think that it's easier if you let your partner handle his family and you handle your family, in the sense that if there's an issue, when you cross border, if I should put it that way, they can't easily forgive you if you step on toes as against their person stepping on their toes. So that is the borderline. I deal with my family, you deal with your family. If I have issues, you are the channel to your family. So I tell you and then you go address it instead of me or my partner going to address my family, or me addressing his family directly. I think that's a good balance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, rightly said. I think someone wanted to say something earlier on. Yes, no?
Yeah, I can say I side with what Lady Senna just said, because usually when you go for marriage counseling, they advise that if you have a problem with your partner's family, tell him so he goes to deal with them, and then vice versa. But don't go directly and then go say anything, because he's still their family, and then they might unite, and then you'll be the one hanging in there. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. I'll take 1 minute whilst we digest it. I'll just take just a few seconds just to plug my laptop back in because it's running on battery low. 2 seconds whilst you still digest this, please.
All right, sure. Hello. Hello.
Hi. Everyone is muted.
Yes, so everyone is muted. My ladies, tonight is supposed to be very interactive.
The thing is, question and answer. Me, it's for only married people.
It's not for only married, please.
Right, I'm back in. If can you let me know if you can hear me?
Yeah, we
We
can
can
hear
hear you.
you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for being patient with me, and you can see my slide as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So then I think we've digested. I think in terms of keeping the separate lines for communication when it comes to dealing with family issues is very important, and we do acknowledge that because that is the traditional norms for us. You don't want to be cross border, otherwise you get cross contamination of information, and before you are ganging on each other. That's not what we want. So yes, it is important to understand where you stand when it comes to family, and then knowing how to address those issues. Best leave the person that belongs to that side of the family to then deal with it. However, I think the key drawing point from this is obviously when it comes to financial information or financial dealings and stuff like that, it is key for both parties to communicate very well. And when it comes to task at hand and responsibility, not allowing the man, because within our settings, we know that the man being the head of the family also has additional responsibility when it comes to his siblings and other people as well within the family. But it's knowing the responsibilities on his head deal with those issues. Because again, like I said, for a female, you have the device and the framework to pull the strings to make him see the full picture of what is ongoing, so then he can navigate himself or around it. You understand? Mr. Jonathan's different dynamics and stuff like that, but it's also very hard dynamics on both areas works as well. Most challenges also happens when you have distance relationship as well, and communication becomes key. So it's more about understanding and then knowing how to deal with it as well. The technology aspect, there was a topic, there was one slide that we were talking, and then a mobile phone, coming back home and then knowing that people on mobile phone. Technology has a massive influence on our relationship nowadays. What we see on TikTok, what we see on Snapchat, and then what we see on Instagram and so forth does not necessarily translate what the relationship should look like in someone else's eyes. So being aware of those nuances as external forces which is affecting your relationship is very important. How do we deal with that? And I think there was a conversation that I had some time back, and then somebody was talking about me knowing the password for my husband or my partner's phone and devices and stuff is very important. And I did ask the, and I'm like, what do you think is there for hence the reason why you need to have access to it? And also, if he is not giving you access to it, what at all is he hiding? So it's a two-way conversation. You know what I mean? So how you start that relationship is very important. And the information you share is also very important. And I use myself as an example. Because I work with the defense, I have like 3 mobile phones, one for my business, one for work, and then one is my actual personal number that I do use and stuff like that. And the thing is, the same password I have on my phone is the same password my son has phone. But when it comes to my access into it, because key information in there is security word sensitive. So when your partner understands that or knows that that phone or that device that you have in the house has sensitive information in there which is pertaining to work, it's very important for her to be aware of, so she doesn't suspect you or becomes more suspicious of anything for him. Hence the reason why she really won't go onto that phone. But when it comes to personal device, how you've communicated your relationship right from that translates into what technology world can have on our relationship. Had any issues with technology in terms of in relationship? No, we're all having a successful relationship then. So we just should be aware of that. So I'm glad to hear that anyway. Moving on to that, of course, we're almost moving to the last couple of slides. I'm just going to discuss the common myths of what people, which then highlights the key point of what in my painful 11 slides that I was going through now. The key thing that stood with us is obviously emotion, emotional intelligence, understanding emotions, and how to utilize it. And now in terms of emotional intelligence, because I've had that question a couple of times before. Or let me pose it to the audience and then see if anybody has any idea about emotional intelligence and how to use it. Anybody out there that understands emotional intelligence and how to use it? If you have additional points on it to link it into empathy, I would like to know as well. Anybody?
Finally, go and clean. Go and take them and clean.
Oh, Lady Pat, please mute.
Lady Pat. Lady Pat.
Yeah, she muted. She was speaking to her son.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes. You can go
Have
ahead.
anything
Oh,
to add
sorry.
when it comes to emotional intelligence?
You put yourself in trouble. Answer.
Okay, I'll move
I
on
was
to
writing about the technology. I was
okay, so is it Cynthia? Cynthia Na?
Lady Pat, please mute.
I was
Cynthia.
actually when you when you are prompting
Mama Cynthia. Yes.
Yes. Time on the phone, maybe that you want to have actual conversation, then it turns to something else. I have that issue, so now I've decided not to be talking so much about it.
Oh, okay. Because I'm really I didn't hear you very clearly. Can you please? Because I think there's something good there that I wanted to draw out, please. Can you repeat yourself?
With the hello, please, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm sure the technology with the phone and the laptops and things. I expect when you come home, at least you should have time with your.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm getting what Madam Cynthia Na is referring to in terms of the technological.
You are talking too much. You are nagging. You are doing this.
And then how it impacts relationship. Yes. And you did mention that you've decided not to talk about it again.
Yes, because in reality, sometimes I will even
wait on me.
I use my eyes looking at you. Still.
Exactly. Someone once told me that what she does is that every time the husband looks at
that was Lady Pat.
area.
I think you asked Cynthia Na. She unmuted, but Lady Pat was talking. So
okay. Well, Madam Cynthia, let me hear what she's got to say as well. Then I'll answer both questions through emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity to talk, Brother Nii Laryea. So, in general terms, I think in relation to the topic being discussed right now, if we are to, as women, right, if we are to address technology-related issues, let me cite Lady Pat's example, for instance. She said she's discussed it on several occasions with her husband, right? And you never know what might be happening in our day to day, that even though we have discussed it several times with our spouses to put the phone down and to enable us have discussions on the home front, um, there might be something that had already happened in your day, and then so to see him on the phone, it might serve as a trigger. And so, in order to exhibit emotional intelligence, I think it's best to wait when tempers are calm on your end and reapproach the issue again. Sometimes it's all about timing, right?
Timing. Yeah.
Finding a good time when they are in a good mood, or when they are in good spirits, or when they are calm, to re-bring up the issue that, this phone thing, you are on it a lot more. You don't pay attention to the kids. You don't pay attention to me. So is there any way that we can institute some control measures? Can we have a no phones that time frame? For instance, if we're having dinner, no phones. If we're having family time, no phones. Can we get a lock box to place the phones in?
Yeah.
Can we put it in another room whilst we have family time? Just find creative ways to address the situation. So that's my take on it.
Brilliant, absolutely. I don't know why you've been quiet all along, you know what I mean? But thank you so much, because you just add a lot of value to what we're discussing now. Yes, so the key things that you actually mentioned there was timing, which is very good when it comes to emotional intelligence linked into communication. Picking the right timing to speak. Also, picking the right environment is also very important. Knowing that the environment in which you've been having that conversation over and over comes back to the same spot. So you probably trying to have that conversation at home. And I mean, which we did discuss earlier on. Is the home a safe haven? Is it a comfort place for him to come in and then have that conversation? And you also highlighted a point that maybe something else has happened. There might be underlying issues which is ongoing, which is then pushing him up to then do that or get onto the phone and so on and so forth. So it is very important to understand the underlying issues that is causing him to get onto the phone, for instance, and then finding the right environment. I'm not saying home is not the right environment, but sometimes just going out for a walk and then discussing the issue, or saying that, oh, honey, you know what, when you come back from work today, Aunt Rose will be looking after the kids. So I just want us to go to so and so restaurant, just you and I, so that we can have a time to ourselves. Or, oh, honey, there is something that we need to discuss. It's not pertaining what is going on. Sometimes using little trick lines, you know what I mean? Not to focus on what is actually happening, but then picking other things to talk about, to go away, have a dinner night to talk about, and then lead on to that conversation is very important. And that rises from emotional intelligence. Now, before I give my perspective of it, I'm just going to give another person the opportunity to then give us back. Thank you so much about with your contribution, Cynthia. And the lady that we had previously, apologies for the name that spoke about the technology. I hope we've answered your question directly and indirectly, but avoiding it is a room for disaster. That is my humble advice. Avoiding it is a room for disaster. Technology was there before your relationship started. However, your relationship was bigger than technology. So it's how you drive back and then put your relationship as a priority is what is most important. So I think you've got a little bit of work to do there to probably find the underlying issue. Then some of the advices that Cynthia gave, having a quiet time at home whereby mobile phones are not involved. When having dinner is a good way of saying, honey, let's all put our mobile phones away so that the kids don't fall foul of it as well. Because how do we tell them off if they're doing the same, if that makes sense? And also
Jonathan
picking the
has
right area, not just at home. Sorry?
Jonathan has his hand up.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I'll pass on to Jonathan before I go on to another lovely lady that I've seen online. Okay, Mr. Jonathan, over to you.
I just wanted to offer a small piece of advice, and this is from me personally, so it may not apply to every man, but if you want to be successful at affecting a positive change in his behavior, approach it like, honey, I need your help. And at least in the case for me, what that does is it opens the door for me to be a champion of this issue, whatever it is, and it makes it easier for me to make the positive decision, and it totally nullifies any possible perception that you're trying to control him or you're trying to change him. You're simply asking for his help. That's all. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Jonathan. Yes, so key things that Mr. Jonathan has highlighted there that we mentioned at the beginning of the discussion is, and I say that invite the person into the conversation, into the task, invite him in. You know what I mean? So then it makes the person feel that he's part of that discussion and he's being empowered to make some sort of decision and sacrifices, which links in perfectly to the young lady that asked the question that, do we give him the power to then control everything? And then my response was that you have the tools to pull him in. And that is that invitation card, using your emotional intelligence to then reframe it with a tone to invite him into the conversation, will then make him feel part of it and feel that he's making the decision. But ultimately, who is actually making the decision here? It's you, if that makes sense. Right. So, lovely lady, I see there. Madam Esther Asante. Something tells me that you've got some valuable some points to share. So I've got Madam Asante and then Emilia. Emilia, would you take over? Mama Frida.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think I have anything to add to that.
Okay, you Marty. Thank you very much. I didn't realize you were there and I spotted you as okay. Patience Parker.
Yes.
What do you have anything to share when it comes to emotional intelligence, experience, or what you think your thoughts are when it comes to relationship, how to utilize it in a relationship to get a man on board? Okay, nothing heard. So I'll move on to my last two, which is Maria and your name. Or yeah, is it Onion in your name? Yeah.
Marian is at work right now, so
Okay, all right. Then I'll go to, is it Senna?
Hi. I don't know if I have, maybe just to add that the one emotional intelligence more to do with maybe from the empathy side and
Mm-hmm.
trying to put yourself in the shoes of your partner and trying to see things from their perspective other than just yours, even though you may disagree with their stance on the situation. Just
Indeed.
wanted to.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. So I think I picked up the right almost the right people to then bring, because you've nailed it right on the head. So from I call it the center circle, right? Where when situation happens, you take yourself away from that situation, and it's either you stand in the center circle and then look around you and look at how it affects them or how they are being affected by the situation. Although the issue pertains to myself or yourself, for instance, looking at it from a distance and how they are being affected by whatever is being discussed gives you a bedside view to understand the impact of what is happening and a better perception to then deal with it. That is the best way I can put it. And when I say bird's eye view, I'm sure everybody understand what I mean. Staying in the skies, an eagle sees what goes on earth, pretty much. So putting yourself in that zone, so then you can see what is happening, the impact, how he's dealing with it. An example is maybe your husband may have come home from work and he's quite distressed. However, when he was leaving home and then he was going away, there was issues that you had with him before he left, not knowing what issues are. So you could find yourself centered on the issue that happened before he left home. And then because that is your main focus, when he comes home from work, that is what you want to discuss and that's what you want to deal with. However, he's also probably dealing with the disappointment, or the maybe he's just been fired in work, or he's just missed out on a promotion that he's worked really hard for. So he's got those two things in his head. But in his head as well, he's trying to prioritize how to deal with them, which one is affecting him the most. So sometimes just a little gesture before you jump or into what you want to discuss is, how was work today? Why are you feeling a little bit down? Are you feeling down because of it? What's going on? You know what I mean? Or how's work? He might then or open up to then tell you what's happening or what happened at work, which would then give you the bedside view to know that, okay, right, there are two issues here. Now, which one do I deal with first? The one that happened at home, is it a life a threatening issue? Is it a life and death issue? Maybe not. You know what I mean? Because he forgot to close the lid of the toilet, or he forgot to, excuse me to say, turn off the tap when he was leaving the house. Yes, we might have a little bill in terms of water bill. However, is it as important as him being losing out on promotion? You know what I mean? So you are able to prioritize those two issues in your head or in your brain, and then say that, okay, right, okay, boom, let me just deal with his emotions now, and then we can worry about that later on. So you deal with that emotional aspects of the issue that has just happened to him in work, and then you move on with what happened. And maybe it can be another time when he's probably done it for the second. Honey, you kept leaving the water run last time. Do you realize that you left the tap running when you were going to work? Well, I had to close, but anyway, you'll be the one paying for the bill. You understand what I mean? So being that person to understand emotions from him. And then you also mentioned empathy, which is a very a big thing. When men are stressed, as women can be stressed as well, or when we are stressed, we are at the lowest point of our lives, and we need somebody to cry on. We need somebody to listen to. So what do we need to be? As much as we need to know how to communicate, we also need to be a very good listeners. You know what I mean? We need to listen, and not just listening for listening's sake. We need to listen and be part of that conversation going forward. Always give feedback when it comes to issues like this. You listen, you give a feedback, and then a couple of days later, you can always go back and then ask how that went. So then you are not just listening for listening's sake, but basically you're trying to track the progress of it in your head as well. Yeah. Again, the links are there for this emotional intelligence. So you can always go back and then have a look at it, because it's very good to have that empathy side of yourself when dealing with a man. Have that emotional intelligence to have the bedside view of what is going on. Always seek or give feedback. The tone of communication also then becomes very important, knowing how to balance it as you will balance it with your children. High tone, low tone, invitation, inviting him to a conversation or into a task so that he knows you there. And all of these serves as framework for you to control the relationship going forward. So you are not giving him the entire power, but you are then putting him in the position that he feels part of that the relationship at the top, because you are supporting him all along. When you move away, he falls over. Trust me.
Okay.
Anyway.
You have a hand up.
We have a hand up, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you said about the tone. I think
Yes.
sometimes it's not just about how high or low your voice is when communicating. There are some phrases that often make people feel attacked. Like, you don't care about me, you always do this, you always do that. So obviously, it will trigger like a defensive state of the individual. You understand that? I mean, there are ways of communicating your feelings without using those like phrases to make them just enter this defensive mode. And then there's another thing about women that I feel is a bit problematic. Not all women, but certain women. They expect the men to sort of guess what is wrong with them instead of communicating exactly what the problem is. You are supposed to know that, okay, this is what is worrying me, but then you are not communicating. It makes it a bit like stressful for the men to navigate the problems. So, I mean, sometimes they just shut down instead of like being open about certain things sometimes, I think.
Thank you, madam. Any more contribution to that? Yes, no? Okay. I will go back to the slide. So that was almost the last slide and stuff like that. So communication, like you said, not always just the tone, but basically choosing the right frame word, the right frame language to then communicate what you're trying to communicate, which goes back to the very beginning of the slide, what we spoke about. English not being our first language, or is our first language, and we have our local language, but we tend to communicate more effectively when we type stuff on a keypad and then send it through WhatsApp and stuff. So anyway, we pretty much stuff with time. So I would just leave these questions, but this would have been the discussion question from the very first, and I've just changed the phrase a little bit in terms of communication again. So, and we would have answered those questions, but just ask yourself those questions when you are home or throughout your normal day. At the end of the week, you can always ask yourself those questions in a relationship, and then basically you can then tackle it in your own brain and stuff like that. So yeah, please make a note of it. I'll share this through the president, and then she can then share it with everybody else, because it's got the links and everything in there. So unless anybody's got any question for me, I'll just take one or two questions, because I know we press with time. Any question? I'll just give a few seconds. If anybody got a question, please let me know. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
So it's not really a question. I don't know whether it's just on what Lady Frida talked about what women expecting that men to assume or guess how they're feeling. I think maybe I'm making a case for women, but I think sometimes we tend to do that because you want to, one, see whether the man is paying attention to you, is hearing or listening to you whilst you're talking. And I think sometimes just ask the fan if I'm asking you to guess. Maybe the moment
Signals.
that we do that may not be appropriate sometimes, but sometimes just ask the fan to know that he can, in quotes, read my mind, or he knows exactly how I'm feeling.
Yes.
So he knows me, you
Yes.
know. It's not that you want to
So
to be
yeah.
something about it, yeah.
So what I'll add to that, or what I'll say to that is, because you are talking in line with what I did mention earlier on, intend to send in signals. So sending those signals, you know your man best. Knowing what signals to send and when to send it is very important as well. So then you don't send the wrong communication to him. So as long as he understands your signals and it works for you, please do. But then when you notice that those signals are not being responded to the way you would have expected to, then you know that maybe you need to tweak that communication style a little bit to then achieve what you want to achieve, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. So I'll finish it there. Like I said, it wouldn't finish with a little bit of advertisement as well. And then I've got the source of information in terms of the emotional intelligence and then the mental health and well-being links over there for people to access as well, if that makes sense. So thank you very much, team, for having me today. If anybody got any question, please, my number is with the president, and I'll be pleased to come back again, maybe in time to give another presentation, if given the opportunity. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, someone is clapping.
Oh, thank you very much, Senna. Is it Senna?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Ladies, what do we have to say to Mr. Odamtten?
Thank you. God bless you.
Oh, thank you, and God bless you too.
God bless you.
So much.
Thank you. Why you been quiet? I won't invite him. Number TBI.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and all that. I know most of the ladies have taken a lot of things into consideration. They loved it. They just wanted to listen more. So I'm sure the next time, a lot of or even before you come again, they will be sending me questions to come and ask you.
Yeah, like I said, if anybody has any question that they want to send me in private, basically they can get the contact from you. They can post the question through you. You can post me, and then I'll come back. If I need to signpost you to wherever I need to signpost to you, I'll signpost you and then follow it up with a link so that you can educate yourself and then be more self-aware within your relationship. Nobody wants to be in a toxic relationship, and if you find yourself there, it's good that you understand where you are and navigate yourself very well, either in it or out of it, or renew it. Either way. So I'm always here to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless
I'll
you.
send you the email for the slides as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll
Bye.
share on our page. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.